everyone, we're going to learn how to bring in the Valentine files. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on upload, upload new image, and browse. And I'm going to go find where I saved the heart. Okay, and if you see it and you get it and it has this little Microsoft Edge, that is an SVG, or yours might say SVG, but this is the SVG. It's just the way my computer is saving it. Hit open. There's 4 different designs for you to choose from. You can tag it if you want to. And save. And then go ahead and select it so the green box is around it. You'll see it down here as well. And insert your image. And so I did give you 4 different designs that you can choose from. They are all grouped, so we're going to ungroup them, and then you're going to choose which one you want. So first of all, I'm going to select each one, and I'm going to attach so that this will become one complete object. As you can see now, it's all attached, and it's all in one gray slab. Then I'm going to do the next one. All I'm doing is drawing a box around it with my my mouse, sorry, and attach. And this one is already grouped. It's all by itself. Everything is attached, so we're good. Actually, yes, I believe the little heart as well. I think it's good. Okay, and then this one is already attached all by itself. Okay, so let's say we want to do the Be Mine. So all you're going to do is come over here, and then you'll take this little eyeball and click on it, and it'll hide it. It's not gone, it's just hiding it so that you're only cutting one at a time. Or you can cut all 4 of them on the vinyl that I gave you so that you'll have them all. Or you can do one by one like I'm doing here. So then this one will cut. Oh, see the little heart is there. That's all right, I'm just going to go ahead and hide it. You'll want to attach that when you do these though. Okay. And then you'll just click Make It. Oh, I forgot to attach that one. You do have to attach it. Okay. And then click Make It. And now it's all together in one. And then you'll just go ahead and continue. So my maker is set up for Bluetooth. If yours is not, then you'll just connect it with to your computer with your cord. And I have instructions on how to do the Bluetooth, how to select it, get it set up with your computer for Bluetooth on a YouTube channel that I will certainly provide you a link to. So for this, we're going to select the heat transfer for non-Cricut. If it's not one of your favorites, just go ahead and browse all materials, and then you can scroll down to look for the iron-on. You can select it here to go to the iron-on, and then you'll just look for the non-Cricut heat transfer vinyl and select it. And to add it to your favorites, just click on that little star that adds it to your favorites, and then click Done. Okay, and then it's also reminding you that you need to mirror this, which I completely forgot. So it's a good thing that it does tell you. So I'm just going to go to Edit right here, and I'm going to select Mirror. So now it's backwards. So when you cut it, it's going to cut backwards, and then when you lay it down on your heart, it will be forwards. Okay. And then you just need the fine point blade. And the pressure, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at default. And then you'll just load your machine and cut your vinyl. I'm going to cancel this out right here and show you if you want to cut all of them at once. So we'll go back and we'll unhide everything. So I'm just clicking on the little eyeball at the very top. Okay, now this one I know we did not attach. See the little hearts separate. So I'm going to select them both and then attach. Okay, so now everything should be attached, and you can see right here, if there's something that is not attached, then we'll need to attach it to something. Looks like all of them are attached. Okay, so now let's go to make it. Now this went ahead and it sorts it however it wants to, although you can move these things around. You can also rotate them to see if you can get more use of your vinyl. I think at one point, I think Cricut was working a little better to put it on the mat, but not so much lately, I've noticed. So see how much vinyl we can save. We saved a whole bunch of vinyl by doing that. And then when you after you cut it, then you'll just cut these out. So you don't want to get them too close. You want to give yourself room to cut these out so they're not too close to each other. But that did save a whole lot of room right here. You could do something else right there as well. And then you go ahead and mirror it. Oh, and then look at that. I moved that one around a little bit. That's okay. That's all right. So just going to move it around a little bit till I save some vinyl here. Okay, so we've got a nice square right there. We can move this down here, and then you've got a nice big square right there to do maybe a big heart or something else. All right, and then continue, and the same instructions. Connect to your maker, select your heat transfer vinyl for non-Cricut, and then use your default pressure, load your fine point blade, and then a good tip that you can use is to put painter's tape along the sides of the vinyl to hold it in place on your mat. Also to bray it down, which means rub it down on the mat really good before you start cutting, is a helpful tip for you. I do this quite often with glitter stock or my vinyls. I just don't like to find out that it's going to slip on me. After you print, then or after you cut, then you're going to see that this is what it looks like. So you're cutting on the non-shiny side. The shiny side is the side that is the transfer tape that you'll take off. So you want to make sure that you're cutting on the non-side, shiny side. You can see there's little lines in that. You can usually tell on the back that that is the shiny side, or you can try on the corner to lift it up a little bit to make sure you're cutting on the right side of the vinyl. And then when it's cut, it's going to look like this on the one side. So the side that you're looking at now is the shiny side. That is the part that you'll apply the heat to on the wood when you get to that point. You'll want to cut around these designs to cut out the one that you're going to apply to your heart. Just like this. So you'll have 4 different ones. I cut mine on black, but you are provided with white, a piece of white vinyl, because you're going to paint your heart red, and then you can add stripes to it of black. I did provide white paint as well that you can mix with the red to make pink, or you can use some black vinyl that you have yourself to put on the heart as well. So you're going to go ahead with the wood cutout and cover the heart with the red. And it's going to take more than one coat. Be sure that everything is completely dry before you're done and ready to put the heat on the heat transfer vinyl on it. If it's not dry, it will blister. So make sure that it's completely dry. I gave mine 2 days before I applied my vinyl to it. And then try to catch the sides if you want. I did give you some twine that you can hot glue gun around the edges, but if you don't want to use the twine, then you can just paint the edges. And that's the pink. I mixed the white with the red and gave myself a pink. So you do have 2 sides to the heart, so you can certainly work on both sides. Do it one way, and then the other side the other way. Use the painter's tape that I provided to you to draw off some lines in your heart to make it a little more interesting. just make sure that you use your finger to really adhere the edge where you're going to be painting so that the paint doesn't get underneath. And then when you're using the paintbrush to paint it on, just lightly go over that area so that you get a nice clean line like this. And you'll see underneath I use a little paper plate to lift it off the table. I just find that easier to paint, so I'm not getting paint on my table everywhere. So once you're done, you'll have your hearts that'll have lines on them if you prefer or not. Just remember that your kit does have white vinyl, so you want to make sure that you're not using white in a stripe, or your words won't show up. So you want a solid red and then maybe a black stripe. For a more advanced project, or maybe the other side of the heart, once you've done an easy one, then you can do the stripes and then use a different colored vinyl to apply to this. And you don't have to use heat transfer vinyl. You can use regular vinyl. It'll stick to it just fine. You can also use it as a stencil and then paint the words instead. When you're applying your vinyl, to also leave enough room for your bow up in the corner. Don't go too far up, don't go too high up. So just use your paint to make those little tiny stripes. Just make sure everything's dry before you do one layer over the other layer. But that's what the painter's tape is for, is to make all these little designs, stripes, lines for your hearts. Okay, so now all I do is I just use paper plates to do my paint on. Just dab your paintbrush in it and then just go over your top. And I'll probably do 2 or 3 coats because I don't want the white showing through for sure. But just very easily brush it on. I'm using a really soft paintbrush, so it's not going to push anything underneath that tape. And that's it. And then just one long drag across, won't leave any paintbrush strokes. But since we're covering this with vinyl, don't worry too much about being perfect, about everything being perfect. It'll come out in the end. People are not gonna go look up and scrutinize all your work to make sure it's beautiful or perfect, so don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start on the vinyl. So the shiny side is the side that's gonna go up, and then the other side is the side that I'm gonna weed on. So I like to use the Cricut tool with the little point on the end. I think it makes it really easy to do this. It easily picks up the vinyl that isn't going to be on the project. Okay, we are using the heat transfer vinyl, so you will need to adhere this to the wood with a very hot iron, or I suggest the Easy Press from Cricut. And so I just pull these pieces that we're not going to use, and just very carefully, when you start getting to the letters, just take more time to make sure that the letters are coming out properly. Just take your time. So I'm going to hold this down and pull at the same time. And then just keep moving my fingers forward. You can see it's pulling away from the letters. They're going to stay on the transfer paper. Okay, don't worry about that if it breaks. These letters are big enough that you shouldn't have any problems with sometimes when they're real small, it'll lift up when you're doing this part, and you just have to just go slow, be patient to get it all off. Kind of feels like this particular one feels like a balloon, this white. Feels like the consistency of a balloon, like rubber latex. Okay, so you see how I did that. All right, now let's just get all this out of the way. All right, and now we'll continue to take all the rest of it off that doesn't need to be there. Okay, so I've got this little center in the heart. I'm gonna lift off. And then you can also see I have this little tool that people use for weeding. It's kind of nice. It's actually a nail polish holder, and you'll get one in your kit. But it's kind of nice, especially when you're weeding the sticky vinyl. But you just stick it in there and it'll collect, and then you can empty that out later. And let's see, I'm just gonna lift those up. And take them off. So the part of the S. Okay. And don't be afraid to do this, because I mean, seriously, if you make a mistake or whatever, just cut another piece of vinyl and you'll get the hang of it. At first, I think you have to expect to waste a couple things, waste some vinyl paper and all that until you get the hang of it, and then you won't waste any more. There you go. Okay, so that one's done. So now you see when I apply it on my product and then iron it down, it'll be the right side up. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I'm going to apply the heat transfer onto the heart. And so I'm going to turn on my you can decide where you want to put your vinyl. You know, you can put it any way you want it. I'm just gonna do just the standard right in the center, a little over the edge on the top and the bottom. I think that's where I want it. Lay it down flat so you can see if that's how you like it. Looks good to me. Okay, and then once the easy press is at the temperature, it will alert you, and then we'll go ahead and we'll press. I'm going to get some parchment paper to cover the whole thing. I don't want the paint melting or anything like that, so I'm going to be on the safe side. Okay, so the parchment paper I'm using, just regular old Reynolds Kitchen parchment paper, and cut out enough to cover the heart. And put it down over the whole thing. That's good. And then I'm going to just check to make sure that it adhered. And it did, so I'm just going to let that dry then. I mean dry. I'm going to let it cool down. Okay, so now we're going to apply the jute around the edges. So what you want to do is you take your 2 yards that were sent to you, fold it in half to find the end, the middle of the end. Leave these at the top because those will be our hanger. And then you're going to start at the bottom and work your way around the heart with the glue gun. Or, I mean, if you want to skip this step, you're welcome to. You'll have to try to paint the edges to be nice, or use a ribbon, or, you know, whatever you want to do, it's fine. I'm just going to use the jute. So I'm just going to start on one edge and work my way up. It's enough to cover that and provide a nice little border around the heart. So just be careful just to use a small bead. And just go a little at a time. Now this project is going to teach you patience for sure. You know, painting the wood, putting this on, getting the stripes right. But if you're not up for the stripes and all that, do not worry. Just go ahead and paint it all one color. It'll still be really cute. This is kind of, I'm kind of showing you the intermediate and advanced all at once. All the different things you can do. But you go at your own pace. If these things intimidate you, then don't do it. Just paint the edge. Try to get a nice clean edge paint, and you'll be good. It'll be just fine. Okay. Now this wood that I provided you with is light enough that it's not gonna be real heavy on your door. So you can certainly hang it with this twine. Okay. Actually, I went around with that glue. I'm just gonna stop it right here because that's where my hanger is gonna be, right? I'm gonna use that to hang it. So I need to stop it right there and get this other side going. Okay. I'll just be careful with the glue gun because that stuff is hot. I don't want any burns, that's for sure. You can also glue this if you want, just use regular glue, tacky glue, and glue it, and then just use the painter's tape around it to hold it down while it's drying. I know some people don't like to use the glue guns. And of course, this is an optional part too, as well. You don't have to do this around the edges. I just wanted a finished look. I had painted the edges, but when I was doing the stripes, they were all different colors, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and do the twine around it. Okay, so this probably already dried. Let's put another little bead there. Get it down there. Stick it on top of that other one. Okay. Have that one go off to the side that way. Okay, so that's it, really. It's really simple. Put that twine around it. You can use ribbon, you can use whatever you like. I'm providing you with the twine, or jute, or whatever you want to call it. And then next I'll show you how to do the bow. Let me flip it over for you too. I forgot that there's two sides, so you see it looks good on both sides. Okay, so at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bead of glue on both sides, just to make sure that these guys are attached really well. To each other, and let that dry. And that should be good. Okay, now to make the bow, simple. Okay, so I gave you a piece of wire. just going to fold it in half. Okay, we're going to use that in a minute. And then you're going to take your buffalo plaid check and you're going to fold them at 6 inches and fold it all on top of each other. So all I did was fold it, fold it, fold it on top of each other until you have it all together, and you should have, there should be like 8. Okay, and then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to find the middle, fold it in half, find out where the middle is. Take your scissors and cut up at a little slight angle to about 1/3 of the way through. Turn it over on the other side and cut it at another angle towards the same one, so it's like a V right here. But you want to make sure that you're not cutting all the way through. You're going to leave that so that when you twist it, you can see that they're going to work just fine. So just make sure you cut it. Okay, then you're going to take your piece of wire and you're going to put it through there and wrap it around, bring it to the other side, and then you're just going to go ahead and tighten that up. And I'm just twisting it around. We'll use this part later to attach it. Okay, then all you do is you start to unfold your layers, bring them off to the side. Okay, and then we'll play with this until we get the shapes that we want. So just go one way with one, another way with the other, bring them out, pull them out a little bit, just be careful. Okay, this is the other end, so you've got 2 ends there. So we've got these now going here. And then on the other side, do the same thing. Pull it away from that side and then pull the other side to the other way. And then these two will do the same thing, pull them apart. Okay, so now you have all your loops. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to just kind of work with them, and you can twist them and move them around. Take this wire part down here at the bottom where it's cut, and you can fold them in. I find that that's an easy trick to, especially with this wire, this ribbon, it's a little thick. So I'm going to fold those ends in. So I don't know if you see what I'm doing. Let's see. So right here where it's cut, see right there? I'm just going to fold that in and pinch it. Okay, I'm going to do that all the way around all of these so I don't have this weird frayed edge. I'm going to pinch them all, make them come like that. So I already got that one. I got all those on that side, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to pinch the edges just like this, make it into like an arrow. Okay, this is not a loop, that's the end, but still do that because it really helps. So you could work with these, go all the way around, make sure you got them all. Okay, missing one here. Just folding them, so you can see when they're not folded. It's easy to see them. Okay, I think they're all folded now. I think I got them all. Oh, there's one. Here's one. This one's not folded. Okay, I think I got them all now. Is the back. So we'll go back to the front. Okay, so this is the front that I'm working with. Now that I flattened them all down, I just want to poof them all out. So I'm just going to use my fingers to open them all up, get them all pulled apart. Okay. All right, so now I've got these two at the back that are my 2 end pieces. So they're back at the back. Okay, now you've got Pretty decent bow going on here, and then what you can do is with the smallest one that you see, you can make your middle, just bring it to the middle, squish it down, run it around, and then that becomes your center piece. So it's just continually working with this until you get it the shape that you want it, and everything's nice and poofy. So that's a pretty decent bow right there. I'm happy with that. So it's a matter of deciding where you want your bow to go. You can have it right at the very top, off to the side. You can have it hiding the hanger. Now, do remember that we do have the other side as well, so you may want to or just have one side of the heart completed the way you like it. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue gun this down, glue it down to the heart. And that's it. So at the top, all I did was just do a little slip knot into the jute so that you have something you can hang it from. So